Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Massey, and if you're looking for new books to read to your child, then you've come to the right place. As a parent, who doesn't want help to feed their child's ever-growing curiosity? I know I do, and that is why I have chosen two prestigious books that should provide you exactly what you're looking for. Not only will your children love these books, but you will too. The first book I am excited to share with you is an amazing contribution to children's literature and has been recently awarded a Newberry Medal. Written by Matt de la Pena and illustrated by Christian Robinson is Last Stop on Market Street. Last Stop on Market Street is a children's fictional book. This story follows the questions of a young boy who travels by bus with his Nana every Sunday after church. CJ, the young boy, like many children, has many questions for his grandmother about the way they live compared to the way others live. He wonders why they ride a bus instead of owning a car, or why he doesn't have an iPod like the other boys on the bus, and also why they live in a dirty part of town. With each question he asks, his Nana has an encouraging response that helps him to see things differently and puts things into perspective for him. This beautifully illustrated book is highly detailed and helps the reader to see things the way CJ does. The book is truly marked by excellence in quality and eminence. It's not only a very distinct book, but also teaches life lessons, and I can guarantee that the ending will surprise you. The second book I am enthusiastic to share with you is a very distinguished American picture book illustrated by Sophie Blackall and written by Lindsay Maddock called Finding Winnie. Finding Winnie is a juvenile nonfiction biography and was recently awarded a Caldecott Medal, and deservingly so. Finding Winnie is a true story of the bear that inspired Winnie the Pooh. The story begins in 1914 when a veteran named Harry Colborne is headed to care for World War I horses. He gets off a train at White River and he sees a trapper who has a baby bear. The man claimed the mother had been killed. Following his heart, Harry offers to buy the bear. He names her Winnie after his hometown of Winnipeg. He took Winnie to war with him to England and trained her to find things using her scent while at the army camps. He was to travel to the front lines in France and unfortunately could not take Winnie with him. So he arranged for her to be housed and cared for at the London Zoo. Winnie got to meet many visitors at the zoo, which include author A.A. Milne and his son Christopher Robin, who I'm sure we all know who that is, and made the decision to allow her to remain at the zoo permanently. Christopher Robin loved Winnie and named a stuffed bear Winnie the Pooh after Winnie. And from that, the inspiration for the world's most famous bear came to be. This story is not only a beautiful story of friendship, but also lets readers discover the beautiful story behind Winnie the Pooh. I don't want to spoil the ending for you, but it's definitely cute. And like Last Stop on Market Street, Finding Winnie is truly marked by an excellence in quality and eminence. So as you remember, I mentioned previously both books were deserving of the medal they received. For those of you who love to read, I'm sure you are familiar with both the Caldecott and Newberry Book Awards, but for those of you who are unaware of what that means, let me briefly explain. The Randolph Caldecott Medal and the John Newbery Medal recognize the previous year's most eminent children picture books. Winning either of these awards is like winning an Oscar or an Emmy. Each year, the Association for Library Services, which is a division of the American Library Association, awards a Caldecott Medal for illustrations, whereas the American Library Association awards Newbery medals for literature. You will find both books are truly inspiring and not only beautifully written, but also beautifully illustrated. These books are stories your children will love for many years to come and will leave a memorable impression on them. And I also want to add that both of these books, after having read both of them, I ended up going to my local library, which had both of these books. I feel both of them are really deserving for the literature, and both of them are very deserving for the illustration. And although they didn't both win both medals, I was just very impressed with the illustrations, the way the stories were written. These books, I even found read-alouds online, and after having read the stories to my own kids, after, like I said, I checked them out at my local library, I did the read-alouds with my kids and then let them hear the stories, just hearing it from someone else other than myself. And they absolutely loved the stories. And my oldest daughter, who is 19, just growing up, I never really let her watch TV, but when I did, she got to watch Winnie the Pooh. And it was because I felt that Winnie the Pooh didn't have a lot of negativity on it. I felt that it was an inspiring show. And so she grew up loving Winnie the Pooh. I mean, for the first probably 8 years of her life that she knew she wanted to dress up, it was always a Winnie the Pooh character. It was either Winnie the Pooh or Tigger. I mean, it's pretty funny, as she got older, that's what she wanted to do. But to this day, she's always loved Winnie the Pooh. In herself, she's become an artist, and that's one of the main characters that she loves. Well, not just Winnie the Pooh. She likes to draw all of the characters, but these books were just amazing, and I really, really loved Last Stop on Market Street. That I've never read a book like that before, and I really love books that offer some sort of lesson to it. And this year my family and I decided to adopt 4 families for Christmas with some friends of ours through my son's football team, and it was an amazing experience. I've been busy this whole week with that, and that story reminded me, just because of the ending, I don't want to say how that book ended, but it just reminded me of how privileged so many people are and how they don't realize that there is another world outside of the world that we live in. My family and I feel like we've been very blessed. We live in a very privileged life. I mean, you see my walls here, we're renovating. Not everybody can afford to do those kinds of things. And in reading that story, it just... I don't know how to explain this. It just touched my heart, because I'm trying to teach my children to see things through someone else's eyes who doesn't have the things that we have, who don't get to experience the things that we get to experience, and don't get to do the things that we don't get to do. So that book is definitely a book I would like to purchase and have as part of my own collection, because I know as a child, I know how hard it was to grow up without having money, and I cannot say enough about either of these books, but that Last Stop on Market Street just really, really, like, it is, both books are so deserving of their awards, and for different reasons, but I love, love, love the lesson in that book, and it's just absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I would recommend both of these books to learn the history of how the most famous bear became the most famous bear. And if you're looking to teach your children a type of lesson, and I would definitely recommend Last Stop on Market Street.